What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to go through some stocks. We'll break down the Sunday stock watch list. We're going to start off with QQQ, SPY, SMH, then we'll hit the Mag 7, and then we'll hit a couple other stocks. So taking a look here at the Qs, when you look at the overall chart here, you can see that we are trading at $600 per share. We're pretty much at the top of this channel. When you move over to the 5-year chart, just to give you perspective, we are trading at the top. So we are looking for pullbacks on this, which would be completely normal. Nothing wrong with that. We're running into earnings very shortly. Trading at $600. If we pulled back to this middle of the channel, that'd be an 8% pullback for the Qs. And now, while we are there, you just want to look for potential areas of support. So we know that an 8% pullback would be for Qs would be about $540. And if you're looking at that $540 level, you're saying, oh, wow, that's so far away. But things can change quick. There has been news with China and with the US, with the tariffs. If things start to escalate, this to me looks like a very, very large bear flag forming. The only way that this bear flag would be proven to not be is it has to break above this 607 level and hold this level for me. That's how I'm kind of viewing it right now. This is what I see with the Qs. So the more that we trail along this level, I think we just need to be aware that this could eventually break down. So that's what I'm looking for with the Qs. Will we start to break down on this? If we do, you want to see, is $585 going to hold up? Because it's clear as day, there is resistance that topped up at this 582 level. So definitely just be aware of that you are consolidating up in here. If you look at SPY, you'll see a similar story here. SPY 675, topped up. We are again consolidating, and it doesn't mean that the market's going to pull back, but you just have to be aware that if this trend line does break, then the same thing can happen for SPY, which would be we kind of go trending this line and then we start selling off, and then you got to look for this area around $650 because that would be your next level of support, as you could see right in this region right here. So I'm definitely paying attention to the Qs. I do think it's going to roll over, but it's not what I think is going to happen. You have to watch the market and let it tell you what is going to happen here. That's kind of how it goes. So taking a look at this here, we're looking at SMH. This is the semiconductors. And I'm going to go over 2 stocks that I think that you really should think about holding long term. Not right now, but just in the future if we get pullbacks for those semiconductors. Because they really seem like the pinnacle of semiconductors. So we'll go through it here. So you have $348 per share on SMH. Obviously, when you look at this in the 5-year chart on SMH, this looks beautiful. It's making higher highs. It's continuing to go up. So I always say when you're day trading, you're scalping, I'd be looking for semiconductor companies. I'd be looking for Mag 7 companies. They have the momentum right now. And you'll see on the charts as we continue. But now, looking here, 348 needs to break. If we get there, 350, pullbacks to 320 should be bought. Next, let's go over NVIDIA. This is one of the obviously the top semiconductors that I think everybody should own in their portfolio, especially for the long term. I mean, look at the 5-year chart. We went from $10 all the way up to $183, and it is at the forefront of basically the whole AI movement. Right here, there is clear resistance at $183 per share. I mean, just look at this. It's literally resistance 185, resistance 185, resistance 185. It's all 183 to 185. Now we are starting to consolidate here, and we are making lower highs. Whether you want to admit it or not, you had a high here, a lower high here, a lower high here, and now we have to get above this 183 to 185 range. If it doesn't, looking for further pushbacks. If NVIDIA retests this 170, I think we're going to start to head back down to our next support level, which probably be around $171 per share. Nothing wrong with that. Pullbacks are good, unless you bought at the high. That's really all it's about. We're looking at Google stock. Google stock, not much to say about this. We're trading at $253. You guys know I'm holding down at 160. Just continuing to hold. They're making higher highs. I'm going to stay away from them for now. Amazon stock is a stock that I think you really should be interested in. When you look at this stock on a 6-month chart, $200 per share looks very interesting. You have multiple levels of resistance, and then it turned into support right in this area. And then ever since then, blast up to 240, pulled back to 213. 213 is being very stubborn. It just won't break. I'm being very patient. You guys know that I've been day trading it. You see it in my YouTube videos, my TikTok. I've scalped 212, 213 multiple times at this point. I am going to continue scalping it with a stop loss right below this area. And then when it breaks, I am going to be that guy that buys around $200. And if it goes even lower, down to 190, which is, to me, is the ultimate load spot, that is where I want to get it. And I want to show you that really quick. Let me see if I can just bring it up on a 6-month chart. Yeah, I would say like if you do it on the 5-year chart, it's a little bit easier. You can see that we do have a little bit of support here at the 190 spot right in here. 190 at consolidation pulling back. But $200, that whole dollar, half dollar level is really what I am looking for. I want to see this break next week. If Amazon can break 212, I would love that. Let's break down to $200 per share. Then I can start to potentially start a swing trade on this right before earnings. Earnings is at $240 per share. It was trading a few months ago. A 16% pullback to about $200 per share is an interesting spot to play. I would definitely be interested in that. Next, we just went over them. Let's go over Apple. I want to hit the rest of the Mag 7s before we start going to other areas. Looking at Apple stock, $252 up to $260. Apple is on a tear right now. It is trading in the middle of the trend chart. So I would just be cautious. You do have 2 spots here that are clear resistance points. It doesn't mean that it's going to reject. I just want you to be aware that these are your areas where I would expect to see some consolidation. And if you don't, what's even better is if it breaks 260, this is the highest it's ever been. So you may get that floating top, break through 260, and then just start curling higher, which would be nice on Apple stock. So congrats to Apple longs. I always say Apple is not a stock that I want to day trade. I just want to buy and hold it, which I do in my long-term portfolios. And now looking at Tesla. Tesla, we have shares down at 200. It is very interesting looking at Tesla. It is rejecting $440 per share. You have this rejection level. I think this is something you need to pay attention to. And if we can get above this 440, then we can continue to make higher highs. Because if you see, just looking at it, it has been rejecting $440 to $445 per share. It's got to get above this. Probably need a catalyst. What is that catalyst? We have earnings in 7 days. If not, you are going to see a massive sell-off, probably back down to 416. And just always be aware when you're trading Tesla, they can really have big swings. So a 5% pullback, you could probably have a 10% pullback on earnings to the downside or the top side at 480. So I definitely just would be aware of that happening right now. I want to go over Starbucks real quick. I own Starbucks in the YouTube portfolio. Full disclosure, if you're a YouTube member and you've been to my YouTube channel, you will see I posted the portfolio for the YouTube members. You could become a member just by clicking on the link, and you will see that I own these guys for a reason. I think that we are trading at the bottom of the channel and looking up here at 115, pulling back to $80. I have my cost basis somewhere around this $85 to $86. Collect that dividend in the meantime. We have a nice $10,000 position in them as well. Let's go over Dutch Bros. Dutch Bros, we called this out in my Whop. If you're in the Whop and you pay the monthly fee and you're part of the community, you guys have known we've been talking about the Dutch Bros for a while now, and pretty much the entire Whop has purchased around $47, $48 per share. So we're looking pretty right now at $54 per share. We got to pay attention. We got to look out for this level here. We have to look out for $57 to $58 and look for that potential rejection. It looks like $55 per share is struggling a little bit. So we'll see. It's got to get above here, but we'll take it as it goes. Let's go over Adobe stock. I think this is an interesting stock to look at. I mean, the thing is they're just really predicting that AI is just going to crush every company. But Adobe pretty much has a very big moat, so I'd be very surprised if they couldn't. So it is running into buy territory when you look at Adobe. Adobe has 2 main points where basically they have support at this 333, which I think is going to break. But right down at this $282 per share level is very interesting to me, because this will be the 3rd time that it's ever retesting it. So you have it right here, retest. You have a retest right here, and you have a retest coming right here. I think $300 is going to be interesting, and I think people are going to be very interested trading this stock. It is something that Adobe, when you look at the financials, their revenue was excellent, and I don't see why we continue to sell off, but that is actually good because I want to get into them long term. So something I am looking into. Looking at BBAI stock. BBAI stock is a company that I had shares before. We made videos on them. I sold them, took profit. I'm waiting to get back in, but I need to see a further pullback. We're trading at $7.48. I need to see a pullback on this from $7.50. If we pull back to $6, I would start to get interested. I really want to see an AI flush. I want to see the companies kind of get flushed out a little bit. I want to see further pullbacks down to the $5 range. That would make me comfortable holding these companies for that swing trade to get that buy opportunity. PLTR stock. PLTR stock is trading up here. It's trying to get above 190. It is trading at 178. PLTR, what it needs to do is it needs to get above back 190 per share. This company has done excellent. Congrats to all the PLTR holders. It is awesome for you guys. Just be aware that what's happening right now is you have this resistance at double top at 190 per share. It's got to get above that. Otherwise, I'd be looking for shorts at that level. And let's go over ASML. ASML is a company that basically runs the AI revolution with their chips. They create everything. They have no competition, basically. And when you look at ASML, $160 per share definitely looks like a potential short opportunity if it cannot break above this. So just be aware on that.